According to experts, only a handful of countries have the capacity to commit such acts, and it may take weeks to investigate due to high gas pressure in the pipes.
It is crucial now that Europe and NATO stand together. We have to find out what happened and who was behind it. It may take some time.
In the meantime, the Europeans want to ensure safety moving forward. Firstly, security and surveillance will be strengthened around both Norway's land and offshore oil and gas installations. New sabotage could have catastrophic effects for the EU, which with winter approaching is already struggling to cover its energy needs. Denmark will extend this vigilance across its energy sector to all at-risk infrastructures. And Sweden has since opened an investigation into what they've called the aggravated sabotage. Russia has denied any involvement, calling the accusations predictable, stupid.
Germany and the Nord Stream pipeline situation, plus the Eurozone collapsing, all in sync. Moving forward, what does this mean for us and Europe? How does it affect us spiritually, morally, and financially? Let's see. The NATO military alliance warned Thursday it would retaliate for any attacks on the critical infrastructure of its 30-member countries and joined other Western officials in citing sabotage as the likely cause of damage to 2 natural gas pipelines in the Baltic Sea. The warning came as the Swedish Coast Guards confirmed a 4th leak on the pipelines off southern Sweden, which is in the process of joining NATO. The first leaks in the pipelines that extended from Russia to Germany were reported on Tuesday, prompting energy companies and European governments to beef up security. The fear of further damage to Europe's energy infrastructure has added pressure on natural gas prices, which have already been soaring since Russia's invasion in Ukraine, and then cut off deliveries earlier this year in retaliation for sanctions imposed after the invasion of Ukraine. That has caused widespread economic pain across the continent. Natural gas accounted for about 27% of Germany's total energy consumption in the first half of 2022, mostly for heating and industry purposes, and to a much lower extent, around 15%, for electricity production. Germany managed to quickly reduce Russia's shares in gas supply since the invasion. Have you noticed in this article that they mentioned this invasion 3 times so far without any possible solutions? This is how the elites operate. That's why I believe in the private sector. At least the private sector thinks about making money and stuff gets done. Let's continue. This frustrates me. I could never be a politician. I have no hypocrisy DNA. From around 55% in February to around 35% in May 2022. However, it still faces the significant challenge of replacing the remaining share with alternative sources not in existence yet. That's a lie. They still use natural gas like coal and oil to produce, quote, alternative sources. Okay. Other important suppliers include the Netherlands, Belgium, and Norway, all of which have increased their exports volume due to the same situation. Hello, the lights are on, but no one is home, I guess, but cannot fully fill the gap of Russia. Why, Jose? Cheap gas produced has long been a boon to industrial companies in Germany who were able to operate at lower cost and gain competitiveness. Nothing personal, ladies and gentlemen. This is logic of capitalism. No room for emotions in business. But I digress. Editor, show us what's next, what's going on now, and let's prepare with the info moving forward. As my calculations tell me, bad times are coming. For real, guys. Fair use.
That means tanks or troops crossing the border of Ukraine again. Then there will be no longer a Nord Stream 2. We will bring an end to it.
But how will you do that exactly? Since the project and control of the project is within Germany's control.
We will. I promise you, we'll be able to do it.
Later.
Economically and strategically. And when it comes to Nord Stream 2, the pipeline that would bring natural gas from Russia to Germany, if Russia further invades Ukraine, it will not happen.
Tulsi Gabbard is a former member of Congress from Hawaii who, from the very first day, from February 24th, when this war began, has been saying the exact same thing, which is the stakes are very high here. Maybe we should acknowledge that before we proceed heedlessly forward. We're honored to have her join us again tonight. Congresswoman, thank you so much for coming on. What do you make of this?
We're reminded once again, Tucker, that we are unfortunately being led by leaders who are selfish and short-sighted and don't care about the American people. They are leading us further and further into war without understanding one of the most basic tenets and characteristics of war, which is it is unpredictable. Once that first shot is fired, once that first punch is thrown, the predictable nature of things, you can plan for things, but it by nature becomes unpredictable. And so they're like, oh my gosh, this thing has become sabotage. Well, yeah, war is unpredictable. The thing that is not unpredictable, however, is the cost of war, the suffering, the devastation, the destruction, the death that is caused by it. And so the real question for the American people and for us to ask our leaders is how much suffering will we have to endure here in this country and for people around the world? Because as you've so clearly stated, we see a sabotage of an energy pipeline today. What's next? Is it access to the internet? Is it satellites that are connected to GPS that power virtually all parts of our life and also our weapon systems? Go on down the line and we end up with this potential nuclear outcome. And so, our leaders are saying, well, hey, we can't do anything. This is all in Putin's hands. Well, guess what? The United States, our leaders and European leaders are the ones fueling and funding this war. So they have a heck of a lot of leverage to be able to push for a ceasefire, negotiated outcome, and an end to this war, and to actually fight for peace and prosperity. And we need to know that if they're not doing that, and they aren't right now, then what they are doing is pushing for more destruction, more war, and therefore a lack of peace and prosperity and more suffering for us and people around the world.
Right? Now think about this. Right now, this vital pipeline, an artery, just like in our bodies that supply blood to different parts of the body, has been cut off. Okay, so that part of that body now is going to die without the vital flow of energy. That means they are going to buy it at almost any cost from anywhere else. So that is also going to take the cost of your energy and rise it all around the world, adding yet another layer or another level of stress, of pressure on the world when it comes to finances, when it comes to inflation. Think about this right now. Everything is happening globally is affecting you. Wherever you live, it will affect you. The only difference is what's the span of time that it's going to take to affect you and your lifestyle. That is why you need to be prepared. You need to start stocking up on food. You need to be, because people don't think about that. They don't think about the cost of diesel or unleaded or natural gas down the road, severely affecting just the cost of food. That's why you would prepare and buy some food now. That's why you would save money and not get into any more debt.
Hey guys, it's Jose, your regular Joe Blow again, keeping an eye out and my ears open. And this situation here puts us in a bad position, really bad. Before there was still hope in negotiations, but now the pipelines are fully shut down until further notice. This will bring a strain to the east first and soon the west. No one is immune to this. We will all suffer this burden, some now, some in the future. So do your own research and consider the finest and most advantage way of moving forward to prepare you and your family for success. I pray this reaches as many people who need to hear this as possible. I'll continue to bring you my best, guys. Thank you for the support and see you on the next video. So let's maintain hope, at least so we could prosper. Stay free.
It ain't hard to tell. I excel, then prevail.